Now we're cooking with grease, ladies and gentlemen. All right, everybody, it's another episode of the Financial Life. Today, I have a guest who I met through my ventures on Alignable. I think it was through Alignable, something like that. It's been a minute, but we'll talk about it later. Her name is Lisa Scioto, and we're gonna have a good conversation today because we do resonate or agree with a lot of things we're talking about the last time you and I spoke about health and energy and all that stuff. So. Before I get into that, I must do my shameless promotion as usual. As you know, or some of you may not know, I help people out with some things like life coaching, financial literacy, and maybe a hint of credit. I don't know. You let me know. But if you'd like some help with any of those, you can book a call with me at book a call. You can book a call with me at speakwithmatt.info. Again, speakwithmatt.info. Don't put the triple W, just speakwithmatt.info. And today's episode is also sponsored by Born to Risk. I'm one of the co-authors of the book. If you'd like a copy, hey, get at me and I'll make sure you get one. That being said, I'd like to introduce my guest, Lisa Scioto, who I'm going to guess has a lot of experience. She's an amazing woman, done a lot of things, been to Antarctica and back and then some. I don't know if it's true, but she'll let me know if it is or not. But whatever. Welcome, Lisa. How you feeling today?
I'm doing awesome. I love your energy, and
Thank you.
that's why we connected in the first place.
Exactly. So the question people are asking themselves right now is, who are you? Like, what's going on? Like, why do you matter? Why do you matter to me in my life right now, Lisa? Let's get real. Come on.
Okay, well, what do you want to know about me? I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years. And in between all that, I actually spent almost 19 years in the occupational therapy field.
Okay.
Uh, and had to leave that because ethically and morally it was just not, a good fit for me anymore. So, but during that time, I also built several different businesses, and one of them was a health coaching business.
Okay.
And from there, I kind of saw people coming into the health coaching industry, and so they didn't know what to do, how to get started. So I kind of shifted over to business coaching. But I'll always have a passion for the health and wellness because I do think that we can do 90% of that ourselves, and I think that's really, really important.
Uh-oh. So you're saying that we don't need the big pharmaceutical drug companies and things? Oh, you're about to get me shut down.
I know,
You may
but
never see me again. You'll know why. Because she said, we can do it 100% ourselves. And I'm just done after. What happened to Matt? Nobody knows.
nobody knows.
He suddenly, some health wise happened to him. And it's like, really? Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, it's a subject that I'm very passionate about, and being in the field for 19 years
Mhm.
and two sisters with breast cancer and breast cancer in my family and all that, like, I just think there's another whole way of going, and I think people can be healthy on their own merit.
So in the 19 years, and then you left. Like, what got you? What was the point you were like, this is not working for me right now? Morally, this is not the way I feel. There's a healthy way to go about this with life. Like, what was that turning point or change, or was it like multiple things that happened where you said, I'm done?
Yeah, multiple things. I think in the actual occupational therapy field, it no longer became about the patient. I get that people have to make a business, and it is a business, but when the patient's care is being devalued and that kind of thing, then I mean, I was seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing. And, I was always one of those people who didn't have a problem reporting it. So, I had it from both ends, and so I just thought after so many I love working with the senior population, the geriatric population. That's a lot of where I spent my time. But I just ethically and morally was just like, this is not right. And, I can't do this anymore. I'm just button. And then even the workers, wanting me to do things that I didn't think was appropriate. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I spent way too much on my, license to have you put it in jeopardy for me. So no, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. I can understand that. I can see that. Excuse me. So 19 years in the field and being that in the industry and seeing what goes on and all that stuff. And so now, what do you do currently now? I know because remind me, and here's my guess because it's been a minute. So right now you help with health coaches specifically, and you help them to get a business versus, all right, I coach people. Let's make it to a business now. Correct? Am I correct on that?
Yes. Yeah, so I help women, I work with women, and those that are coming into the coaching industry, but could be alternative practitioners, it could be gyms that are looking to get things going, anybody that's starting to get in that coaching business, whether you're a life coach, health coach, whatever, but you don't know where to start and you have ideas, you have a whole bunch of ideas and you have a vision, but you don't know where to start and you're just like overwhelmed. So I will actually give you a step-by-step process, and help you put everything in place. Working with me, you know exactly what your next steps are. So we take that idea and vision and we create the reality that you want for it.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing because entrepreneurship in itself is definitely a can be daunting or one thing like what I do, but in the life coaching world, it's like, you know what, let's make this twice as hard. Because there's really no established, like it seems like there's no established rules of like, hey, here's how you go about doing X, Y, and Z. It's
Mhm.
more like, well, you can do this, but you got to figure it out on your own and kind of get you kind of get hurt and all those things. And it's very like, okay, there needs to be, and with you, that's what you're doing. What do I want to say? Not rules, but like a guidance to say, hey, when you start in this path of life coaching, here's where you start. Step one, two, three, four, and five, versus kind of being thrown out there and you're like, well, I help people doing so and so, but I don't know how to find these people so I can do so and so. Would you
Right.
agree?
Yes, and then people don't know where to find people, but a lot of that becomes from the fact that they don't have very much clarity on who they want to work with. And so, there's the whole thing about the niche, and I don't want a niche. And if I had niched way back in my business a long time ago when I was health coaching, I'd have probably a thriving business working with just men right now, because that's a lot of who I worked with, but I didn't want a niche. I was resistant to it. So a lot of people are resistant to that change or that, just narrowing down. And I think that if I could give people one word of advice is hire a coach early on. I mean, because they know what they've already been through and they can help you get through the process so much faster. I wish I had done that early on because I would have saved tens of thousands of dollars and I would have had a step-by-step process instead of going this zigzag, and stopping up here to buy this shiny object and stopping down here to get this shiny object and having
Yeah.
none of that, you know.
That path becomes a maze. You're here and you're here and you're like, well, I want to go here and like you want to go there and then like you said, it becomes it can easily you feel like you're going all over the place and going nowhere.
Exactly. You don't have that, no direction. Once you lose your direction, it's really you doing busy work and you're procrastinating. You think you're working, but you're really not.
Yeah, just being busy just to say you're busy, flying
Yeah.
around, going, look, I'm busy. It's like, what are you doing? I'm busy.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere, but I'm so busy.
There's non-income producing activities and there's, income producing activities. So you have to decide like, oh, what am I doing here? And most of what people think is income producing or money making activities is really not.
Yeah, because we're not taught that. We're taught. I thought about this the other day. Like, what is it about when people go from being an employee to entrepreneur, life coach, whatever it is, that makes it difficult in making money? And let me know if you agree with this. It's because when you're an employee, unless you're in sales, this is the exception. Unless you're in sales, you have a company that hires you to do a task that, let's say it's admin work or you're just moving boxes and things. You're getting paid for that because they need someone to do it. What we're not taught is that to get money, you have to be selling a product. So why I said doesn't count. That someone wants to then hand you their money or swipe a credit card to get paid for. That's what they're doing. So they're making the money in sales and they're paying you to do whatever it is. So we think, or whatever it is, it's like we get into this field and it's like, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, get paid for. And it's like, no, 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 no. You have to sell something. You doing admin work is not income producing. Once you make enough revenue, you can hire someone to do admin work, a secretary. And
Yeah.
that's a field where we get just lost because we think, oh, I got paid to do this. It's not the same anymore. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree. And, for me, when I started coaching, when I got into the coaching field, like I was actually coaching before I actually got certification. That's what made me like say, hey, let me get some, letters behind my name and I'll feel better about it. But I was literally and I'm into this field and don't do that. And I wish start coaching, even if it's your family, your friend, because it starts to get you like figuring things out versus, oh, build my website. I gotta, do this. I gotta build a program. Just coach. You come out of school having the material to coach. You don't come out of school knowing how to create the business, but you can still start coaching. And most people are so scared of that that they don't. And then they don't know how to build the business. So, they're just putzing over here. And it's like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. How do I get started? A year's gone by. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot of people. And let me ask you this: why do you think people are so hesitant or resistant to hiring coaches like yourself at the very beginning? Do you think it's more so money wise, or do you feel it's a I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think for me, it was, and then I think for a lot of people, they just think they can do it on their own. They just think they can do it on their own until they start and they realize, oh, I've got to create the programs. I've got to reach out to people. I got to find my audience. I got to get an LLC. I got to do all these hats. I got to send out a newsletter. How do I do all of those things? And then when they realize that it's not just about one thing that we're doing, like if you work for an employee, you're doing one job, but there's a bunch of people doing a whole bunch of other jobs. When you come into the entrepreneurial business, you still have to do all those things. You think you only have to do one. And I think that just people don't understand that we do wear a lot of hats and you have to have some organization to that. You have to simplify your steps and get those systems and strategies in place. If you do that, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, systems and strategies, and the system that because we go from being part of a system to you being the system, and it's like, whoa, that's a jump. No one tells you, hey, by the way, you were a part, now you are a system. Good luck. What do you mean? This is what it is. So you come in and so you come in and do what you do helps you simplify or make the transition. I don't want to say easier. It's smoother transition to where this is what we're doing and this is how you do it.
Yes, yes. And it's really makes a huge difference. So I wish I had hired a coach, but I was resistant because I thought, hey, I ran businesses already. I ran a, daycare business. I ran other businesses from my home beforehand, when I was raising my kids. I can do this, like no big deal. But it's such a whole different beast that I think then we get overwhelmed and all that imposter syndrome and that limiting beliefs start coming in and then you're not making money, so then you get some guilt and shame coming in and it's like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I have to go back to work.
Yeah. No, no, I failed. No, you didn't. Gotta do things different along the way. What, what? Okay, I can't talk today. What made you get into coaching or why coaching?
Um, I think because I've been my whole life, I feel like I've been in that leadership position. Like I've always been put in a leadership position where I was coaching. Even when I was like a little teen, I had 5 younger sisters that I had to watch and bring up and raise, so I was in that role. All through my work, through occupational therapy and, being an admin and all the other jobs I have, I was always in that leadership role where I was teaching people, which I love to do. Gallup poll, my top thing is learning. And then it is maximizing, responsibility, futuristic, and belief. Those are my top 5. And it fits me to a T because I love learning, but I also love teaching. So I think just being able to, if you show me how to do something, I can learn it. I didn't know anything about websites before. They were my nemesis. I had 5 of them before. I actually now build websites. I'm like, but I always used to tell myself I couldn't do it. But then somebody came along and showed me how. If you show me how, I can do it. And I think that's what a lot of people need. So I love to show coaches and those coming into the field how to do something. If you're someone trying to get healthy, I want to show you how to do it. I want to make it make sense to you. If I can get it to make sense to you, in whether it's visuals or hands-on or verbal or whatever, or all of them, that's what I'm going to do. And I love that.
So why weren't you ever like a teacher in like early in your life? And so just taught kids, it'd be great. No, you want to do that. Then you go to the public school system, which needs a needs an overhaul badly. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's funny though. I raised my younger sisters, so I was in that role. I worked in occupational therapy where I worked with seniors and geriatric population. But now I get to work with this age group, our age group, and I really get to impact them. So whether it be in health or their business, they get to help their kids, but they also get to help their parents or whatever too. So it's just a nice, I don't know, I love it.
It's a little different form of teaching.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I told myself I was never going to be a teacher because my dad's a teacher. I'm a teacher. We were teaching in public school, and then I remember like growing up and hearing him complain more so about what they had to go through and how the kids, they're getting blamed for a lot of things and just the frustrations around it. But there's always that joy that he had, the teaching and seeing the impact on his students. And me growing up here, Mr. D, Mr. D, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we would, it was funny whenever we go with him. I got to the point where I was like, what are the chances that someone's going to see him that either is a current student or a past student? He taught so long in the same area. It was just like inevitable. And it was got a point I was like, oh, here we go again. My dad knows someone because they know him and all this stuff. So I grew up with that. I was like, I'm never going to be a teacher. Never going to do that. To then getting into credit repair and basically teaching financial literacy to people. And I'm like, and then doing life coaching. I'm like, great. So here I am as a teacher. It's the thing that I said I was never going to do, and here I am doing it. Maybe not from the school standpoint, but it's just, I don't know.
Well, you're here because it's probably, in your blood, and it's something that you were meant to do. So I do believe we're always guided to what we're really meant to do.
I guess, but looking back at my life and what I've, done and participated in, there's really not much of any signs that said, hell yeah, you're going to be a teacher in like financial literacy or life coaching. None of that. There's like pretty much none of it. And yet here I am. So I don't know, whatever. You know what, Lisa, you're right. I'll take you as my coach for the moment. You're right. Okay, fair enough.
There's something there. There's something there.
There must be, otherwise I wouldn't be here as far as that goes. Going back to the health part about this and what you saw being in the occupational field, what I guess my question is, because you said that we could do 90% of ourselves, like what led you to believe and like what have you seen that led you to the belief that we humans we can heal ourselves, we can do it ourselves, we're just being hindered by that.
So when my sister was 36, my older sister was 36, she got breast cancer. And that was like, it was like the universe stopped me and said, okay, which path you're going to go down? And I can remember the day too. It was just like, are you going to go here and figure things out? Or are you just going to stay where you were? I was smoking, I was drinking, not a big drinker, but I was drinking. I'm a junk food junkie when I was a kid. And at the same time, I was getting ready to go. I was in college, just learning to be in occupational therapy. We had to do a speech, and we had to figure out what as a group, and we did it on breast cancer. And so my sister was going through that. But what I learned through that is that we all have genes in ours, but it's our lifestyle that makes the whole difference. And that just clicked with me. And I literally changed everything. I started trying different diets. I tried it, I stopped smoking. I got, that took me a long time, got hypnotized, and it worked beautiful. But I stopped smoking. I started going to the gym. I started doing all these other things. And it was amazing what a difference I saw in myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, everything. And so I just started, really just going on that path. Several years later, my baby sister at 31 got breast cancer.
Oof.
And she didn't last very long, but those were two. And I had an aunt, my maternal aunt had breast cancer, and she's still alive today and in her 90s. But what I remember from that is she used to do sculpting. She used to do her own meditations. And I do believe that that was something that really impacted her life. And so as I started this journey, I just found so many things leading to lifestyle habits. And I just was blown away by that. So I just started slowly figuring it out on my own. And I just saw a complete change in my body. And literally, it's been almost 30 years. I've been sick twice in the last 30 years. I
That's
know we take care of our body.
I agree on that. So sick twice in the last 30 years. Not too many people can say that. That I feel like that's unfortunately rare. And then people are getting sick, not just from just not like I'm actually sick for a couple of days or a week, or whatever, like sick from allergies going up, obesity's increasing. Just so that our society isn't very healthy. And it's unfortunately being designed in a way to make health such a challenge, which is crazy. But yeah, for you to say I've been sick in like 30 years, or you been sick twice, is amazing. Because for me, I rarely ever get sick. The last time I did was in 2021 or something, or 2022, I think it was something like that. I was sick for like 3 days, whatever. I think I got one of the COVID variants. I don't know, but I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell or anything. I was just hungry for like Cheetos and cheeseburgers. Don't ask me why. I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
So, but my girlfriend got COVID, and I was around her, and I ended up being okay. Nothing happened to me.
Nope. I actually I spent a little time doing per diem work in California, and somebody was was pregnant in her first trimester. So I worked the month of April, when COVID had hit. So I was
Ooh,
around all of that. And then I was around my boyfriend who had COVID. I did not get sick. I did not, nothing like that, even so, and I don't know that I really want to mention this, but I've never had any menopause symptoms,
oh wow.
not a one. And so I know that is partly from what I eat, partly from what I don't put on my body.
Hmm.
That's from the supplements I take. And so, like, none of that, even. So it's amazing when we can take care of our bodies. I see people all around me. I can look at somebody and see inflammation in their body. I can see it in their face. I can see it in their body. I can see people being emotionally, having emotional imbalances, all of those things. But we can handle all that if we do change our diet and the way we're thinking and what we're putting in our body and on our body and all that stuff. So it's a shift that people have to be willing and wanting to make.
Yeah. No, that is a true statement to shift. And what do you think? Well, let me get your thoughts on this. I feel that prior to COVID, there's already a shift to alternative medicine and people looking into things. And then COVID hit, and that like accelerated that to now where people, because the whole, the mandates to get something into your body that you didn't want. Won't say that live right now, but that I think really sped up the change in people looking at, wait a minute, what's going on with the industry? What have I been taking for so long? What's really going on here? There's alternatives. And then we saw a push to get those alternatives silenced, whatever that may be, even if you didn't want to take the jab or not. Other things too, they're like, we need to like push it out the way. So what are your thoughts on that? Did I lose you?
Um, I did not take, no, research as it was coming out, and I was just like, there's no way. I mean, I haven't put
Sorry. I I I must have closed it by accident. That's my fault. Oops. Oops.
it
Sorry about that.
happens, right?
That was a user error on my end. I stopped the whole thing in the middle we were talking, and I was like, what happened? And I was like, so let's rewind the tape. So I was like, what just happened? All right. So yeah, because I thought something was happening, and I was like, so yeah, so what are your thoughts about the whole push, not the push, the interest in alternative medicine it's called now, prior to COVID and then during and now after. So
I think a shift was starting to happen pre-COVID. I think it, more and more people were just getting tired of like, oh my God, I'm taking the medicine. I'm doing the things that the doctor's telling me to do. I'm not losing the weight. I'm not feeling better. I'm on these drugs and nothing's happening. And actually, I'm feeling worse in many, many cases, right? And so, but then when COVID happened, I think it just really scared people, but it also gave people a chance to hear a lot of different sides. Obviously, if they're on the internet, they're hearing all different kinds of things. But I think it also opened up some people's eyes to maybe there's something different, maybe there's something better, or they actually had a chance to be home, be with their family. They started realizing, wow, what have I been missing out on? I'm more calmer. Different things are happening, and maybe there's something different. I think that people really found that they didn't want to just go and take another drug all the time. They were looking for alternatives. They had time to search for alternatives. They had time to read stuff. And I think that started impacting people in a way that said, I want better. I want to learn more.
yeah,
And I think that is now what people are doing. They're really looking for alternatives.
yep, yeah, I agree with you on that. There was a I remember looking at alternatives in like the early 2010s, kept looking, and then COVID happened, and it just skyrocketed. To where now people are like, oh, you can do this stuff, and we can't, we all had the ability to heal ourselves, but we get in the way of that because of the drugs we take, and it's a system where it's like, I'll get you a one, then that drug causes more issues, then get you another one, and the third and fourth, and to where you have people on like so many medications, and you're like, they don't look healthy, they're just like a shell of their former self in some way. I'm sure you've
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah, absolutely. I see it in my own circle of friends. And it's heartbreaking sometimes to see that. And I can only say so much. I don't put my views on anybody else, right? I talk about them because that's who I am, but I don't put my views. If you want to know, happy to share, right? But I think that we get stuck because we've always been, the doctor says this, the police officer says this, the government says that, we get, listen to your doctor.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
I've had enough bad doctors, and I haven't been to a doctor since, 2009, maybe.
Oh, you can't say that. What do you mean? How do you know what you're saying is right if you've been doctor and those
Hey,
people.
and I haven't been sick, right?
Exactly.
You go to doctors, they're certainly going to find something wrong with you. They're going to take, it's the same thing with your blood sugars. and all of that are fine at 300 before. Now they're not good at 200. Why?
That's a good
Why?
question.
People got to start questioning what their doctors telling them. Go in, and I interviewed my last doctor that I had, and I wanted to find out if he was somebody I wanted to work with. Here's what I want. I want this. I want this. I want this. I don't want you to throw a drug down my throat. I want to, do other things. And if you're not going to do that, then I don't want to choose you as my doctor. We have to question what our doctors are telling us.
Yeah.
We have to question when we're talking to our doctors and they're not even looking at us and they're not, explaining things. People don't understand. Doctors had like 8 hours of nutrition in their whole.
Yeah. I had another guy on my podcast talk the same thing. He was in the same still in the journey where you're both in the medical field, and then you both leave because of whatever happens, and you find out, oh, you're healthier. Ironically enough, not being in the medical field or not being under that, like it's like, how does that make sense?
Right. I always say, look at your doctor. If he looks unhealthy, why would you take advice from him?
Oh, that's a whole new different conversation about who do you listen to. We're not taught to, like, if you're going to listen to someone and you're trying to achieve something, if you're listening to somebody telling you how to get what you want, do they have what you want? Or are they living it? Or if they're giving you advice, is it come from someone that's done it already? We're just like, just here's what it is. Like, oh, that makes sense. As long as it makes sense on some logical level, we'll just take it.
Right. Right. And I think, people are more starting to question it post-COVID, but everybody has to start questioning, what they're putting into their body, what they're putting into their mind, what they're doing in, all aspects of their life. If you decide you want to make a change, you can do it. It doesn't have to be done in one day. It's not going to be done. I'm on my journey's been over 30 years long. I'm still finding new things, that I want to do and that, I'm putting into place. I mean, this whole silver hair is a whole new thing that, I've done in the last year. So, but I got tired of putting dyes in my hair for, a long, long time. So it just is a matter of taking one step at a time. And, it can be maybe changing the products that you use in your household while you're cleaning. It takes, simple things like that. Or you can start with just starting to learn how to read labels and knowing that there's 60 names of sugar and how many are in your 1 can of vegetables. There's probably 3 different kinds of sugars that you don't even know what they are. So it's just little simple things that can help people. And a health coach could certainly help people get on that right track.
I was just gonna ask, what are some, like, tips you'd like to share, I guess, from the health perspective, and also tied in from the business perspective of what people can do to, like, one, just start getting healthier, two, like, hey, if they're becoming a health coach, what's like 1 or 2 tips you can share to help them to make the transition smoother, the versus, all right, I got this, I'm gonna go out into the jungle and come back out bloodied and cut up and stuff because I didn't take your wisdom
Okay.
or advice.
So I'll start with the health coaches and the business part of it. For a couple of things, just get out and start coaching. I don't care, do it for free if you have to for 1 or 2, short sessions, not like a 6-month program. Please don't do that because you'll decide you hate it. And I've had coaches do that, but just give 1 or 2 coaching sessions to a couple of friends, your family, somebody, a coworker, or whatever. 1 or 2, just to get you like into asking questions, listening good, right? Get yourself a CRM system. That's a contact relationship management system. It holds people's email addresses. There's a great one you can use on Google. It's called Streak. You can look it up. I used that for years. It was awesome until I got my own website, and that has it inside my website now. But Streak is a beautiful system that you can keep track of everything. So I know there's a free version, and I think the cheapest one is like $15 a month. That's going to help you bring all your clients in, people that people who are interested in your work, and you can actually send out emails and stuff. I think that is building your email list is going to be one of the biggest things you can do for your business. You could have 1 million followers on Instagram, but if they decide to shut your account, guess what? You've lost them all.
Good point.
So
good point.
Yeah, so build your email list and be consistent in sending out a monthly or twice monthly newsletter. Short, sweet, and simple, but full of value. Don't write these long things because people aren't going to read them. Okay, you build up that email list. Beautiful. I think for, those are 2 things you can start with, and hire a coach if you can, or get into a group where you can learn some tactics. I think for health coaching, right off the bat, the first thing I would do is tell everybody, drink half your body weight in water in ounces. Okay, that you're going to see so many changes with just that. And don't tell me, oh, I know I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. We know you are, but that's going to stop after a while, right? And then look at if you're trying to lose weight, don't worry about the fat, right? Or the calories. Look at your salt and your sugar. The lower you can get those, the better. That was one thing I always taught my clients right off the bat. Look at your salt, your sodium, and get those down as much as you can. Choose better brands that way. Sugar is a killer. If you can do a sugar detox, you can be amazed at, like, it'll change your complete health around. It'll get rid of inflammation. Inflammation is the biggest thing in your body, and it's causing the disease.
Yeah.
Find ways to do that. There are a couple ways that you can just do a simple sugar detox. And really just, water, don't eat after 6 p.m., if you can, or 7 p.m., just don't eat and then go to bed. That's one of the worst things you can do. So I think that as well. And then just start trying to learn how to make better choices. Cook at home. Don't eat out at these restaurants because you're wasting money and you don't know what's in the food. Cook at home and cook, good meals. Cut out your breads, cut out your white rice, eat sweet potatoes, things like that. Going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. The bread in our country is ridiculous. It's the way it's made and processed, and yes, the way it's processed makes it bad, because over in Europe and stuff it's different. People eat it and they're fine, but here it's like, nope, you don't eat that or too much of it. But yeah, what we mentioned is simple changes that you can make and just could be consistent with, and then you end up being fine. But the sugar detox, though, that's tough, because sugar is in this country seems to be in everything, in the waters, ketchup, cocktail sauce, everything, in things. And I'm like, why is there sugar in this? Like barbecue sauce, but I'm like, there's a lot of sugar in barbecue sauce. Why? Just it's in places where bagels, certain things. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I had to do in my statistics class, I had to compare 3 numbers. So I decided to compare yogurt, something I was, familiar with, that made sense to me to help me understand statistics.
Mm-hmm.
But I also then interviewed a whole bunch of people and said, what brands of yogurt do you use? And people thought they were eating yogurt and that it's healthy, but yet they were eating it with 42 grams of sugar. That's 9 teaspoons of sugar. So there you go, right? If you're going to eat yogurt, look for something that has 11, 10. At least you're having, way little sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But 42 grams is 9 teaspoons. Think
of it, guys. Please. Okay, let me ask this. I did this for a minute, where I would get plain yogurt, and I looked at the back, and there's some sugar. I think a little bit. I was it was plain. I added honey to it, and I was like, cool. It sweetened up, is much better than just getting vanilla yogurt, which can have a crap ton of sugar. It's what? Why? This is an ice cream.
In the sugars that they're putting in it, some sugars are so much worse than others. And I'd be happy to give your audience a list of 60 different sugars that they can look into, because it's crazy. So just think about it. I have a fall detox that's out, right? But in the fall, we have all those great fall vegetables. Your squashes, they have their own sugar content in it. So
Right.
make you know, roasted, just cut up a whole bunch of different squashes with a few cranberries, some onions, some peppers, roast them in the oven, and you have yourself a beautiful sweet dessert. So it's you know, taking out the processed sugar and adding other sugar in, which is natural.
Nature
Eats,
sugar.
yes. So like all your vegetables, I mean, they have some great, you know, sugar, natural sugars in them.
Yeah. The natural sugar is much better for you than like it's kind of like there's nature sugar and then man sugar. It's like, is this a candy bar? Let's take this syringe of more sugar and just here you go. And
Yeah.
I look back to my childhood and I go, how in the fuck did I eat all this stuff as a kid and teenager and not like die? And then I asked the question, did it have as much sugar back then in the candy that it is now, or was it just as much? And then now they've added even more on top of it. Because I'm like, how did I survive? How did I grow?
Me too, because I use a sugar addict back then. And, you know, I got to a point where I just started using less and less and less. You know, when I had my coffee, instead of putting 2.5, I'd put, you know, less and less until I got down to nothing. And I did the same with salt. And it's really made such a difference. So now everything tastes salty to me. Everything tastes
Mhm.
sweet. You know, even with chocolate, if you love chocolate, start eating something that's 72%, then go up to
Yeah,
80%. And you'll see that the chocolate that's 80% and better tastes so much better. It's like you won't even want milk chocolate anymore.
yeah. That's that gradual, what's the word? What's the phrase called? It's a bio, oh,
Bio,
what'd you say?
bio individual, that's more just everybody's different.
No, it's not that one. It's I learned it when I was when I still practice like fasting, multi-day fasting. It's a biochemical change in the body. When you fast, yeah, you biochemically change. Yeah, you biochemically change when you do these sugar detoxes. Your body changes, like it adjusts. And I've had people where another lady who did it like a sugar detox, and it's like now the stuff that's like lone sugar is like tastes normal, and if she has like milk chocolate, it's like ooh, it's like one bite and you're done. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a real
Yeah.
thing. Like it's, but you have to gradually do it. Your body adjusts to it, and you're like, oh, this is what this is supposed to taste like, versus what I was given as a kid, and that I have adjusted to. So
My boyfriend, when I first met him, he's 6'2", okay, and he plays every sport you can think of. Was 256 at that time, but he held that weight really well.
yeah,
Didn't, you know, he wanted to lose weight. But he would go bike riding, he would burn 4,000 calories, come home, drink a big glass of milk, and eat 6 sugar cookies. Because he didn't gain the weight because he had burned so many calories.
yeah,
But that sugar was just killing him. And so when he was ready, and in being a big guy, he likes to eat a lot, like, you know, at one time.
so
Now
do
it's,
I.
yeah. So here's something I could give to, you know, everybody out there. Just start, cut out your bread. You want to have, I used to make him turkey burgers with mushrooms and peppers and all that and onions in it, right? Give him 2 turkey burgers with the lettuce, tomato, no bread, right? And start eating things without the bread. Have what you want, fill up vegetables, all that. Then once you get used to that, probably after about 2 weeks, then you can start watching portion control. If I would have just said to him, you know, we're going to cut you down to 1 burger and no bread and not, no.
No,
In his mind, he needed more to eat.
yeah,
It's just, I would make him dessert. And so instead of cutting them into squares, I would cut them into 3 because he needed 3 was better than eating 1 big square because
right.
you only have 1, but then he could have 3. Same thing. So a lot of times your mind's playing tricks on you and wanting you to do something. Fool it. Fool it. Fool your mind.
Little dietitian hack there, or whatever you want to call it, and way to eat. Way to eat and be satiated, satisfied, not like I can't eat this, it's not fun anymore. Nobody
Yes.
wants that. Nobody wants that.
Yes.
Well, Cool, cool, cool. Well, Lisa, I appreciate you for coming on. It's been fun. Been good conversation. Um, for those who want to contact you, how can they do so?
Okay, well, it's really simple. Lisa at lisasciotto.com is my email, and my name is Ciotto, or they can just go to my website, which is www.lisasciotto.com, and they can reach me there as well. There's a lot of different things on my website. I do Reiki, I do brain spotting for the emotional part of things, and yeah, I'm
Oh yeah.
happy to help out.
I'll have to have you on for part two, which we talking about the emotions and the Reiki, because we didn't get to that today.
No, we
That episode go deep because that epigenetics, stuck emotions, frozen emotions. There's a
yeah.
whole new side to detoxing and getting healthy, and that side that's not talked about a lot. We hear about the physical, exercise, eat right, drink water, mindfulness, wherever the fuck that means, I don't know, but mindfulness. No one talks about, hey, the trauma you had when you were like 7, or the energy is stuck in your body, the pain you already have. It's due to energy in your body that's stuck that you don't know about. When we tell you about it, you think that's impossible, but it's not.
Right.
It's a very, very real thing.
Every physical issue that you have has an emotional root to it. And I've proven that to myself over and over and over again. And I've been able to get rid of, a lot of physical issues that I've had just by dealing with the emotional root.
I've
It's
done
really
some. It's
powerful.
really cool. Yeah, once you done, it heals. It's all good.
Yep. Yep. So this is awesome. And I would love to come back for the
You're coming
emotional.
back. We're gonna talk about. We're scheduled. I don't know about today, but I'll reach out to. We're gonna schedule and have you come back on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. All right, Lisa. Thanks for being on. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.